If you're thinking about adding a new modality to your office, you might be wondering what the actual numbers look like. When will it be profitable? Will it be profitable? Is this the right financial decision for my practice and my patient base? And if any of this resonates, I want you to pay close attention. Hey, I'm Ben, Chief Brand Officer here at StemWave. And in this video, I'm gonna break down the actual economics of what it's like adding traditional devices to your practice and how that compares to integrating a modality like StemWave. Now let's talk about something no one in healthcare ever questions. The idea that if you wanna make more money, you have to see more patients. More volume, more hours, more appointments, more of you. It's the default setting for most clinics and the trap that burns out good providers every single year. Because every dollar means another slot in the schedule, another sprint between rooms, another evening getting home late. But what if that whole model was broken? What if, instead of chasing more patients, you could actually do less while earning more? And listen, I know, it's a big shift in how doctors typically run their practice. But let's dive into the actual numbers so you can see how this works in real time. Let's say you want to add an extra $10,000 a month to your practice. If you're working Monday through Friday, that breaks down to about $500 extra per day. Sounds simple enough. But let's look at what it actually takes with the tools most clinics are using today. Take laser therapy, for example. Most providers charge around $75 per session, and some go even as low as $50. And each session takes up to 30 minutes. To make that extra $500 a day, you'd need to see about 7 additional patients every single day. Or maybe you're using a radial pressure wave device. At around $50 a session, you'd need 10 extra patients a day just to hit that $500 target. And these aren't quick treatments either, with each one taking up to 30 minutes. Or what about electromagnetic devices? At $45 a session, you're looking at 11 extra appointments just to hit your daily number. And that's assuming every patient sticks around. But we both know how it works. You'll most likely see 1 to 2 out of every 5 patients drop off the plan. So now, you need even more people just to hit numbers you were already counting on. The truth is, the more your revenue depends on volume, the more you trap yourself in a business that can't scale without you. You get busier, not better. Your revenue grows, but so does your stress. And eventually, you hit a ceiling. Because you can only see so many patients in a day. You only have so many hours in your schedule, and you can only push your team so far before burnout sets in. But with StemWave, you won't be stuck trading time for money. You'll be compressing time. Let me say that again so it sticks. You'll be compressing time. Let me show you exactly what I mean by that, because once you see the numbers, you'll never look at volume the same way again. With StemWave, providers typically charge between $100 to $200 per session, and each treatment only takes about 5 to 10 minutes. And the average care plan, it's about 8 to 12 sessions, so let's just call it 10 sessions for simple math. An average of $150 per session multiplied by 10 sessions is $1,500 per patient per area for the full protocol. And providers typically get paid entirely up front, which means an immediate surge in cash collections, no chasing, and minimal drop-off. Now, remember that extra $500 a day we talked about? With StemWave, that's just 3 to 4 sessions a day. That's 15 to 30 minutes of actual treatment time compared to several hours with those other modalities. And that is exactly what I mean by compressing time. You're collapsing hours of work into minutes of treatment. You're freeing up your schedule while making more per hour. And this is the difference between chasing more volume and building a premium service line that actually scales without burnout. And in just a moment, I'll show you how it's actually easier to get patients to sign up for full StemWave care plans when compared to cheaper options like Radial, laser, or other systems. But first, let's zoom out for a second, because chances are you're not just looking to treat a couple of patients a month. So let's keep it simple. Let's say you treat just 10 StemWave patients in a single month. That's only 2 or 3 a week. Nothing crazy. No long hours, no marketing blitz, no new staff, just 10 patients. And at $1,500 per protocol, that's $15,000 in monthly revenue from only 10 patients. Now, multiply that over a year. With StemWave, you're looking at $180,000 in additional annual revenue from just 10 patients a month. Now compare that to something like electromagnetic therapy at $45 a session? You'd need to acquire 30 extra patients per month, complete over 4,000 sessions annually, and work 5 times the hours just to generate the same revenue. That's hundreds of extra hours, thousands of extra appointments, and who knows how many more dollars spent on marketing. And for what? To maybe hit the same number? So remember, this isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter. It's about shifting from hustle to high leverage, from volume to value. And that is exactly what the StemWave model is all about. Premium, high-value service where the results match the revenue. Now, of course, all of these numbers only matter if patients actually pay for it, right? And let's be honest, that's the concern most clinics have. My patients won't pay cash, especially not for something outside of insurance, and especially not at that price. Totally fair. But take a step back with me for a second, because here's what's really happening in the healthcare landscape. There was a study published from the National Library of Medicine showing 70% of patients are willing to pay out of pocket for treatments if they can get faster results than traditional care. And it makes sense. When you think about it, these patients are already spending money. They're paying copays for physical therapy. They're buying pain meds, getting cortisone shots, trying random supplements, booking acupuncture, cupping, cryo, massage, you name it. They're throwing money at the pain, just hoping something finally works. In fact, did you know that according to IQVIA's annual report, Americans spent $98 billion out of pocket on prescription drugs just last year? And that's just what came out of their own wallets, nothing to do with insurance. That number is up 25% from just 5 years ago. The total spent on prescriptions in the US hit over $800 billion in 2024. When you break that down, we're talking about $1,500 spent per person per year just on medication. So when you think about it, patients are already spending that $1,500. And wouldn't you agree they'd much rather invest that money in a solution that actually works? Now, of course, we still need to make it an easy yes for the patient because most patients don't want to commit until they feel the difference. That's why providers start with a low-cost first visit, usually around $49, and we call this our mapping session. And during that visit, the patient typically experiences 10 to 30% relief on the first session. Not after 10 visits, not after a 90-day plan, right then and there. They get up from the table and they feel the difference. And here's the truth. When a patient feels that kind of instant relief, especially after trying everything else for months or years, they don't need to be sold. The results sell themselves. And that's why 70 to 80% of mapping sessions convert to full treatment protocols. Because once your patient feels it, the decision becomes obvious. And here's the best part about switching over to a premium, high-service model like StemWave. Instead of being limited to the types of cases you can effectively treat, you'll now be able to serve 1 and 2 people in your community because now you're not just serving your current patients better, you're opening the doors to an entirely new population of people you couldn't help before. The chronic pain patients who've been to 6 different doctors, the ones caught in limbo, not exactly surgery candidates, but they're not improving either. And the cases you normally have to say, I'm sorry, there's not much more we can do. With StemWave, you can finally say yes to those people. You can give them real relief. And you become the clinic people talk about, the one that gets results no one else can. So that's really how the economics of StemWave work in your practice. It's not about working more hours, chasing more patients, or hiring more staff. It's about compressing time. It's about delivering exceptional care, and it's about building a practice you're truly proud of. Now, if you want to dive deeper into the science behind StemWave, or see real case studies from providers just like you, I'll link a few other videos right here on the screen. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.